Hi, I'm Tracy Whitfield, and to get started on our bracelet today, we have the QuadBow beads in the metallic violet, we have our PieDuo beads in the pastel bordeaux, and then we have our Miyuki 11O beads in the Duracoat galvanized yellow gold. I'm going to be working with the Wildfire beading thread in 0.006 size, the green color. This is a 2-needle project, so on each end of a comfortable length of thread, we're going to place our needle. I'm going to start off by actually picking up a wire protector and centering it on our thread. So I'm going to go through one side with one needle and then go through the other side with our other needle and pull that through and make sure it's centered on our thread. Next, we're going to pick up a QuadBow bead, and we're going to pick up that QuadBow bead starting from the inside arch, and we're going to go through the 2 middle holes. So one needle will go through one middle hole and our other needle go through the other middle hole. So they'll be exiting the QuadBow bead like that. And we're going to pull our thread through, and our QuadBow is going to sit right next to our wire protector just like that. Now we're going to pick up 1 11/0 on each needle. And we're going to let those beads drop down. And now we want to pick up one of our PieDuo beads. And we're going to pick up the PieDuo bead by going through, starting from the curved edge. So one needle through one side. And we'll put our other needle through the other side. And this is what our project will look like so far. So I'm going to place one of my needles to this side, and we're going to start working with another QuadBow bead, and we're going to go through the QuadBow bead from the inside arch to the outside arch, and we're going to go through that first hole just like that. And we're going to let that drop down right next to our PieDuo bead. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So we'll pick up the QuadBow and go through that first hole like that. Let that drop down. Okay, working with our right side now, we're going to pick up 2 11/0s, and we're going to go through the second hole of our QuadBow bead on this side. We're going to pick up 3 more 11/0s, and we're going to come across to the QuadBow bead on the other side and go through that second hole. So like that. I'm going to put this needle to the side for a sec. With our other needle, we're going to pick up 2 11/0s. We're going to go through the second hole of QuadBow on this side, and we're going to go through those 3 11/0s we added in the middle. We're going to go through that QuadBow on the other side, and we're going to exit. Our needle and thread is going to exit out of the QuadBow on the other side, making sure that we don't pick up or go through any of these 11/0s that are sitting on the edge of our QuadBow. So I'll pull that through, and this is what we'll have. We're going to pick up 2 more 11/0s on this side, go through our third hole of our QuadBow. We're going to pick up 3 more 11/0s. We're going to come across to the other QuadBow bead and go through the third hole on that side. I'm going to place this needle to the side for a second, and with this needle, pick up our other needle. We're going to go pick up 2 11/0s. We're going to come through the third hole of this QuadBow, and then we're going to pick up those 3 11/0s that we just added in the middle, and then go through the QuadBow bead on the other side. And when we exit the quad bow, we want to make sure we're exiting the quad bow only and not picking up those 11 O's that are sitting on the edge. All right, so with the needle I'm working on the right side, I'm going to pick up 2 more 11 O's, go through that last hole of the quad bow on this side. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. We're going to pick up 2 11 O's, and we'll go through the quad bow bead, the 4th hole of the quad bow on this side. I'm going to give it a nice pull. And then now to finish off this section, we're just going to pick up another PieDuo bead, but this time we're going to go from the inner sides of the PieDuo to the outer arc. So one needle will go through one hole like that, and we'll place our other needle through the other hole. And that is what you'll have right now. All right, so now we want to add our connecting section. And to do that, we're going to pick up an 11 0 on each needle. We'll let those drop down. We want to add a QuadBow bead, and our QuadBow bead will sit like this. So we're going to go through the 2 middle holes. One needle will go through one of the middle holes like that, and we'll take our other needle through the other middle hole. So our thread will be exiting those 2 middle holes, and we'll sit like that. Now we're going to pick up an 11 0 on each needle one more time. And we're going to pick up another QuadBow bead. And this time it's going to sit like that. So we're going to go from the inner arch to the outer arch, going through the middle 2 holes again. Okay, and now we are going to pick up 11 0, 1 11 0 on each side. And let those drop down, and now we are ready to start our next section, and we'll do that by picking up a PieDuo bead, going through the outer edge to the inside. We're gonna now add on our QuadBow beads, starting going through that first hole and letting that drop down to our next to our PieDuo, and we're going to go through another QuadBow bead on the other side and let that drop down. So we will be working on this section in the same manner that we worked on this previous section. So go ahead and add on your 11 O's, and I will come back and show you how to do the connection again. All right, so we are at a point where we are going to add our, getting ready to add our last section on. I already added on the beads for the connection between the sections here, and to do that, once again, you're going to add, after the last, the PieDuo of the last section, you're going to add 1 11 0 on each needle, followed by a QuadBow going through the center holes 1 11-0 on each side again, and then you're going to add your next quad bow, and then again 1 11-0 on each side. Now, the length of my bracelet that I'm making is going to be about 7 to 7¼ inches once I add on the clasp. If you need something that's longer, there's a couple ways you can do that. You can add another whole section, or you can add at the end, you can just extend out the bracelet with a couple extra jump rings before you add your clasp. There is one more way, and I'll show you that when I get to the end of the bracelet. But right now, we're going to add on our last section. And I'm going to, once again, go through my PieDuo bead. So one needle through one side and one needle through the other side. Then we're going to pick up our quad bows, going through that first hole on one side, and then on the other side, go through the first hole of the other quad bow, and drop those down next to our PieDuo bead. Okay, on the right side, I'm going to pick up 2 11-0s, go through the second hole, gonna pick up 3 11-0s, and then go over to the other side and go through the second hole of that quad bow. Put this needle to the side. On the left side, we're going to pick up 2 11-0s. We're going to go through the second hole of the quad bow, and then go through those 3 11-0s in the middle, and exit out of the quad bow on the other side. And once again, pick up 2 11-0s, go through the third hole on this side. I'm going to pick up 3 11-0s, go across to the other quad bow, and go through the third hole. I'm going to put this needle to the side, pick up my other needle, pick up 2 11-0s. I'm going to go through the third hole, go through those 3 beads in the middle, and then come out the opposite quad bow. All right, pick up two more 11-0s, go through the last hole of the quad bow on this side. And then do the same thing on the other side. We're going to pick up our PieDuo, going from the inner side to the outer arc on one side, and then also do that with your other needle. Okay, now we're ready to end off our bracelet on this side. And we're going to just do the, make sure it looks like this end over here. So we're going to pick up 1 11-0 on each needle. And then we're going to pick up our quad bow, going from the outer the outer edge to the inner edge, and we're going to go through the middle two holes. So one needle through one middle hole, and then your other needle will go through your other middle hole. All right, now we're going to add on our wire protector on this end. So we'll pick up our wire protector, and we're gonna put one needle through one side. This is how we're gonna go through that side. Oops. With the same needle, you're going to come over to the other side, go through the wire protector, and then we're going to come down through our QuadBow bead, the other middle hole. So make sure I show you. We're coming, if I have my bracelet oriented like that, I'm on the left here. I'm going to come through the middle hole on this side. Whoops, first I'm going to go through my wire protector. Then come through the QuadBow on this side. We want to make sure that our thread goes through the channel of our wire protector and pull down. I'm going to put this needle to the side and pick up our other needle, and we're going to go. We're already coming out of our QuadBow, so we're going to go through our wire protector up and around. And come down through the other side and go out the middle hole of that QuadBow on the other side. Making sure the thread sits nicely into that wire protector. All right, I'm gonna pull really nice and tight. Now what I want to do is, I'm still on this side. I'm gonna come back up through my QuadBow right here, but I'm not gonna go through my wire protector. I'm only gonna go through the QuadBow bead. And there will be like just a minimal amount of thread shown here, but you won't really see it. So here, I'm going to pick up two 11-0 seed beads, and we're just going to come down through the last hole on this right side of our QuadBow and pull that down. I'm going to put this needle to the side, and I am going to pick up our other needle, and I want to do the same thing on the other side of the end of our bracelet. So we're gonna go up through our QuadBow, just coming out of our QuadBow. Try not to go through that hole of the wire protector. We'll pick up two 11-0s, and then we're going to come through the last hole of the QuadBow on this side. And that is what you will have. Okay, now we're at a point where we're ready to add on the sides to our bracelet. But I did want to mention that the total number of sections we have for our bracelet is 5. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then in between those sections, I have the connections. There's 4 of those. And then we have our QuadBows on the end. I did mention that I was going to show another way to extend the bracelet, and I beaded up a small sample just to show that if you want to extend your bracelet on either side just a little bit, you could actually add another QuadBow with 11-0 seed beads in between. The thing with this, doing this, is that you probably need to start off your bracelet, knowing ahead of time that you're going to add just a little bit more length, and so you'll start off with the 2 quad bows instead of just 1. All right, so let's get back to adding the sides. So right now our thread is coming out the last hole of that end quad bow, and I'm going to be working with my needle on the right. We're going to pick up 5 11/0 seed beads, and where we have our 11/0 sitting on the side of the quad bow on our last section here, we're just going to go through all of those 11/0 seed beads. All right. So now we want to pick up 2 11/0s, and we want to pick up one of our 4mm bicones. And I'm using the Potomac Crystal Bicones in the light Tanzanite AB color. So we'll pick up one of those bicones, and then right after that, we'll pick up one 11/0 seed bead. We're going to come over to the last hole on these 2 quad bows that we use to connect our section, and we're going to go through the last hole of each of those quad bows. Now we kind of wanted to reverse what we did with adding the bicones and seed beads. So we'll pick up one 11/0 seed bead, we'll pick up one of our 4mm bicones, and then we'll pick up 2 11/0s, and we'll come to this next section of 11/0s on our we have right here, and we're going to sew through all of those 11/0s. I'm not pulling super tight when I do the sides. I'm just making sure that the beads just sit kind of snug against each other. So I'm going to put this needle to the side, and we're going to do the same thing with the other side. Let's pick up 5 11/0 seed beads. Come through our first section of 11/0s on the side of the quad bow and go through all of those 11/0s. We want to pick up 2 11/0s, 4mm, then one more 11/0. Come over to these next 2 quad bows and go through the last hole on this side. We're going to pick up one 11/0, one bicone, and then 2 11/0s, and come over to the next section of seed beads and go through all of those seed beads. And again, working with the same side that I was working on, we'll get 2 11/0s, a bicone, and then one 11/0, go through the last hole of the 2 quad bows, both of them. Pick up one 11/0, one bicone, 2 11/0s, and then we're going to come over to this next section of seed beads and go through all of those seed beads. So continue adding the seed beads and bicones down along both sides of the bracelet. So now we're at the other end of our bracelet and we're ready to finish it off. So what we want to do here is pick up 5 11/0 seed beads just like we did on the other end. And our thread is exiting out of this last set of 11/0s on the side of the quad bow. So we're going to come up to this quad bow that's on the end of our bracelet, and we're going to come through the last hole. We're going to pick up 2 11/0 seed beads, and we're going to come down this one of these, the center hole next to it. Let's say it's not the last hole, but the third hole. Making sure that we don't go through our wire protector. We're just going to go through the quad bow right now. And those 11/0s really should sit next to our wire protector. So then we want to come down through this 11/0 and back through our our PieDuo. And then we'll go through the first hole on this quad bow. We're going to exit right out of our quad bow bead. Now I want to reinforce, because it's on the end of the bracelet, I want to reinforce those beads that I just added. So we'll just go right through those last 5 beads. Go through these 2 11s and back down again through that 11, our PieDuo, and back out that first hole of our quad bow. So now I have this extra thread. And I did add crystals along the side of the bracelet. One of the things that I like to do is I like to reinforce the thread path if I add crystals along the side. So I already started doing that on this side. So I'll just show you that we're just going to start going through the seed beads on the side of our quad bow, and we're just going to reinforce this thread path. Going through all those beads on the side. And that will, one of the things we don't want to do is pull too tight, because our bracelet may start to curl up just a little. So if it does, you just lay it flat and kind of flatten it out with your fingers, and you can keep going. And I can finish that side a little later. I just want to show you once you get to the end, and I'm almost at the end on this side, we're just going to kind of reinforce this end. Go up through those 5 seed beads on the end, and we're going to come, just like we reinforced the other side, we're going to come through these 2 seed beads, these 2 11s right there, and then we're going to come down through the quad bow, that 11, and our PieDuo, and we'll come right back out this quad bow bead. And now we're all done. I'm going to flatten out the bracelet again, and all I want to do here is just tie off and end my thread, and we can just, you know, go through a couple of these seed beads, tie a knot, go through another seed bead, tie a knot, and then, you know, end off our thread. And I'm going to do that a little later, but because I already have a bracelet that is done, once you end off your thread, What you want to do is attach your clasp, and we're going to do that with jump rings. So we'll use a jump ring to attach one side of the clasp to a wire protector on one end, and then on the other end we will use another jump ring to attach the other end of the clasp. And this is what the bracelet will look like. And if I were to kind of just show what it looks like on, that's what it looks like on. Now, I did make this bracelet in another colorway. So here's one that was made with the Labrador Full 11O Seed Beads. The QuadBow Beads and the PieDuo Beads are the same color as the one in the gold, but I used the silver color seed beads, the Labrador Full Miyuki 11O Seed Beads here, and then my 4mm bicones are the Potomac Crystal AB color. The only difference with this particular bracelet is that I used a 2-strand clasp, and because I had the 2-strand clasp and I thought was really nice that I wanted to use, I added 2 wire protectors on the end, and I can show you how to do that just really quickly. If you're going to use something like a 2-strand clasp, at the beginning of the bracelet we added 1 wire protector on this gold one. We would actually skip that, and we wouldn't start with a wire protector. We would actually start with the QuadBow bead. So if you can see, I just have a small amount of thread there. So both of our needles will go through the center hole of the QuadBow bead to start off, and then we will do our bracelet. Once we got down to the end of the bracelet on that first pass, what we would do is that you would have both of your threads coming out of the last, push these out of the way, both of your threads coming out of the last QuadBow beads, the two middle holes. And so I already added 1 wire protector on one side, and to do that on the other side, you would just take one of your needles. So though I'm using, because I'm adding the right wire protector now, I'm using the right side, and then go through up and around your wire protector, making sure your thread sits in the hole, or in that channel. You're going to come through the last hole on your QuadBow like that, and you would pick up your 5 11O seed beads. So I have those 5 11O seed beads. I would actually go through the first hole on the QuadBow bead of the last section, and I'm sorry, that would probably be the last hole. And then we'll come up through the PieDuo, that 11O, and out that last QuadBow bead, and up and around a wire protector again, down through those seed beads, and as you come out those seed beads that are on the side, you would be in position to start adding your 11Os with the crystals. And that is the end of the project. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you need any of the supplies to make this bracelet, you can visit PotomacBeads.com or PotomacBeads.eu. And as always, thanks for watching.